What's up, everybody? Welcome back to T Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is main deck Monday. Today we're going over a deck that nobody really wants me to cover. I know everybody probably hates it. I'm covering it today, but today we are covering the Night March deck. Now, Nationals is not this weekend, but it is the next weekend, and Night March is, if not the strongest deck in the format. Like, literally, people have to build the decks to counter this deck, because if they don't, they will easily lose, because this deck is going to be everywhere at Nationals. I promise, if you're going to Nationals and you don't expect Night March to be there, you are crazy. This deck did well at every single stage, every weekend. I'm pretty sure every weekend it won a stage, and that will continue on to Nationals. It's going to be one of the strongest decks, if not the strongest decks, because Night March is such a great attack. And please test against this deck. I know a lot of people say, oh, I hate playing against Night March, I hate playing Night March, but you need to test the deck. I promise you need to test the deck. So let's go over it. It has been a little while since we actually played this on the channel. I don't think I've played it since Puzzle of Time has been introduced. I'm not 100% sure. I could have looked back, but today, let's go over the deck. If you have no idea what this deck is, we're going to learn together what it is. And if you are new, or if you are old, you know what this deck does, then you're going to get refreshment. If not, you can at least learn what new cards are, like the Mew, which is pretty much the only thing we've gained from Fates Collide. But let's go over the deck and let's see what's it about. Now, your main attacker is going to be Joltik or Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo has the attack Night March, which is what the deck is called. This attack does 20 damage, ties in their Pokemon and your discard pile that have Night March attack. So obviously, Pumpkaboo, Lampent, and Joltik all have this attack. You can attack with Joltik as well. It has Night March. Lampent is a stage 1, so you cannot attack with unless you're playing Litwick and Lampent, then that's really weird. I don't know why you're doing that. But we're going to use Night March, put a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile to attack Night March, and you're going to take Big KO's own Pokemon, and that's how we're going to win the game. We played 3 Shaymin-EX to help set up to draw 6 new cards in your hand. Really good card in the deck. Makes the deck really consistent and really fast. Now, the new card in the deck is Mew. Mew has the ability Memories of Dawn. This Pokemon can use attacks of any of your basic Pokemon to play, but you still need the necessary energy to use that attack. And that's what we're going to use. We're actually going to use this ability, and we're going to copy Night March, and that way you can actually save your Night Marchers from being knocked out. If Mew is in your attacking spot, your Night Marchers not getting knocked out like Pumpkaboo or Joltik, which is really nice. And that's why Mew is such a great card. It has 20 more HP than Joltik, which is great because that way a Sky Turn is not knocking out a Mew unless it has a Muscle Band, then it can do 50. Because that's always the scary part with Joltik. It has 30 HP, Sky Turn can easily knock out this guy, and he's not living anymore because Sky Turn does 30 damage. So that's the deck. I mean, that's the attackers. Really simple. 4-4-4, 3 and 2. I think that's a great combination. Some people are opting not to play Mew, which I think is fine as well. I personally love Mew because I'm not giving him a Night Marcher. This way you can put 11 Night Marchers in the discard pile if you need to, or your prize Night Marchers, this can help you out more, because then you can discard more Night Marchers because you only need 1 on the field, instead of having 2, because you're scared of your only Night Marchers being knocked out, which is really great. So that's all the Pokemon in the deck. Alright, so we're going to go over trainer cards. There is a lot, but there's 4 Battle Compressors, which is our main engine. Search your deck for 3 cards and discard them. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Now, this is going to discard your Night Marchers and your supporter cards. So Battle Compressor, usually in your first turn, you're discarding 2 Lampents, maybe a Sycamore if you already have a supporter card in your hand. You're going to discard like 3 Lampents, which is 24 to 60. You do it again, that's 80, plus some Night Marchers, and you can see how quickly Pokemon be put in the discard pile. Let's say you have 4 Joltiks, 4 Lampents, and then 1 Pumpkaboo. That is 9 Pokemon. That's 180 damage. That is 9 Pokemon. That is, 3 Battle Compressors, which is not too crazy. You also have Ultra Ball and Sycamore to help discard Night March in your discard pile, which is really nice. We play 1 Buddy-Buddy Rescue. Some people opt to not play this card. I really personally love this card because it has a lot of flexibility. Each player puts a Pokemon from their discard pile into their hand. Your opponent chooses first. So one cool combination you could do is you could Battle Compressor, discard a Shaymin into Lampents, Buddy-Buddy Rescue to put a Shaymin into your hand, and then play it if you don't have a VS Seeker or if you don't have a supporter card. It's kind of like a last kind of thing to do if you have to do it, but also gives you attackers back as well, like Joltik or Pumpkaboo if you need them. 1 Escape Rope to make it where you and your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench is just mainly to get a Shaymin out of the active spot, or maybe switch your opponent's actives out of the way. Some people are going to say that this deck loses to Jirachi, but when your opponent uses Stardust, what you could do is Escape Rope to switch it out of the active, use Lysandre to bring it back up to the active spot and knock it out, because it then resets the Stardust attack. If you don't know, Stardust says discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If you do this, Jirachi is immune next turn by attacks. But if you Escape Rope, then Lysandre back up, it resets it, and then you can knock it out, which is really, really nice. I do like Escape Rope as a lot, and also it's just kind of like a free Lysandre if you want to as well. For Puzzle Time, which is the reason why the deck is so good. For Puzzle Times, what we're using is the second one. If you play two cards, if you play two Puzzle Times, put two cards from your discard pile into your hand. This can help you recycle your DCEs. If you notice, you only play 4 special energies, which is okay. Some people are going to complain, say you lose the Aegislash, say you lose the Giratina, but I promise you're not going to. You're probably going to destroy those decks because you're way faster than them, and you have ways around them. Puzzle Time can get you your DCEs, a supporter card, a Dimension Valley, whatever you need, it can get you out. One Megaphone, which is very, very crucial nowadays, because all those new decks play Fighting Fury Bells to give Pokemon 40 plus HP, which gives like Pokemon 210 or 220 HP, which is sometimes hard for Night March to take a knockout. But with Megaphone, you can get rid of those tools, which is really nice. And also, one cool thing you could do is you can Night March for like 180, hold on to the Megaphone, and the following turn use Megaphone, then take another knockout for 4 prize cards in one turn. So that way your opponent can't end you. Like, let's say you use Megaphone, then take a knockout, well then your opponent can end you down to 4. But if you wait and you hold on to the Megaphone, you can do 180, then play the Megaphone the following turn, and then take a knockout, then take another knockout. So that way, if your opponent ends you, I mean, if they had it in their hand, they can't end you anymore, or they do end you, you have 6, which is really nice. And I do like this combo a lot with Megaphone. It's really good, and it gets rid of Bursting Balloons. Those are more for Trevenant, which it doesn't really matter because you're item locked, but maybe you Hex Maniac and then play Megaphone, you might be okay. One Town Map to see your prize cards. I think this is really crucial. So that way, if you prize like a Puzzle Time or DCE, you can dig it out of your prize cards. For Trainers Mail, look at top 4 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card you find there, and put it into your hand. This is going to help you find your battle compressors, maybe Puzzle Time, a VS Seeker, anything. Trainers Mail is really good. For Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, these are pretty much staple cards. Now, we play 2 Hex Maniac. Like I said earlier, you need a way to control your opponent's Aegislashes. If your opponent has an Aegislash, you cannot hurt it with the special energy, but Hex Maniac can shut down these abilities, which is really, really nice. Also, you can shut down Greninja. Greninja pretty much destroys his deck, but if you can constantly Hex Maniac your opponent, they can't use like Giant Water Shuriken, so you can take knockouts on them. Well, like you're changing 1-for-1 on knockouts, but they can't use their abilities because you keep Hex Maniac them. If you play 2 Hex Maniac to help you out a lot more to draw to this fairly easily, you play 4 Battle Compressors, and you play 4 Puzzle Times, so you can easily keep using this over and over again, so that way your opponent can't take constant knockouts on your Night Marches with like Giant Water Shuriken and Water Shuriken. It's still a really hard matchup, don't get me wrong. Greninja's one of the reasons why it's so popular right now is because Night March is a big deck, but sometimes you can't outspeed it because you're playing such a fast deck, which is really nice. 1 Lysandre, 1 in, 2 Sycamore. You might be confused as to why we're playing 2 Sycamores, not Mew, more Sycamores, and that's because you have Shaymin in your deck. It really is not needed. 1 Teammates, which is really, really good. If a Pokemon was knocked out last turn, you may play this card if only one of your Pokemon is knocked out during your opponent's last turn. You can search deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Some cool things that you can do with Teammates is you can Teammates for double Puzzle Time to get 2 cards out of your discard pile, which is really nice. So basically you Teammates for 2 DCs out of your discard pile if you want to do it that way. You can like Teammates for a Puzzle Time to complete a puzzle in your hand, and then VS Seeker for a Lysandre or something, which is really nice. We also play 1 Xerosic as well. I'm contemplating the switches into a Enhanced Hammer, but Xerosic says choose a Pokemon tool or special energy card attached to a Pokemon player and a Pokemon in play, yours or your opponent's, and discard it. Now the reason why I'm kind of want to keep it because you can discard more tools, which goes back to the Fighting Fury Belt thing. They have Fighting Fury Belts, they have so much HP, but with Megaphone and Xerosic, you can control that. But also, against, there's a card called Giratina. It has an attack called Chaos Will. If your opponent Chaos Wills you, well, you can't attach to DCs or Special Energy, DC or Stadium or your Dimension Valleys, because it says your opponent can't play Special Energies or Stadium cards from their hand, or tools. But if you can control your opponent's Giratina by Xerosic off their energies, it's really, really nice to make it where they can't attack you, because usually they need to attach a Double Dragon, and then the following turn, they use like Max Elixir or attach, or maybe another Double Dragon, or maybe a DCE, so you can't control their attack with Xerosic, which is really nice. But sometimes you don't want to waste a supporter card, so that's kind of why I want Enhanced Hammer as well. Xerosic is such a good card overall, though. 3 Dimension Valley, because if you notice, Pumpkaboo has a 3 energy attack. With a DCE, you only need the 2 energies to attack with Pumpkaboo, which is really nice. Usually you had to play 4, but now with the Mew, you can copy Joltik's attack for 2, which is really nice. I do like that a lot. 2 Fighting Fury Belt. I've talked about this card a lot against people, but in your deck, it gives your Pokemon 40 more HP and 10 more damage. Now, this is nice because then Pumpkaboo has 100 HP, Mew has 90 HP, and Joltik has 70 HP. It does boost it up quite a bit, making it where certain Pokemon can't attack you, like Evital with the Muscle Band, or a Shaymin Sky Return. These Pokemon cannot knock you out as often anymore because Fighting Fury Belt can give you that 40 more HP. 1 Float Stone to give Shaymin's free retreat, like I said earlier, and 4 DCs. That's all we're going to play. That's all you need. You're going to be A-okay, I promise. Some people, like I said, are going to say that you lose the Age Slash. This is not true. You play Hex Maniac. Some people are going to say you lose the Giratina. This is not true. Unless your opponent gets a really, really fast Giratina. Like, if your opponent gets a double, like a turn 1, like, I don't know, like a double Max Elixir, Double Dragon attachment, and the Chaos Will, yeah, you're probably going to lose that. But that doesn't happen too often, I promise. It's not going to happen too often unless your opponent's running really, really hot. I think you still can beat Giratina fairly easily with the Xerosic in your deck. Like I said, I'm contemplating playing Enhanced Hammer, but then you can't via Seeker for Xerosic, and the only way to get Enhanced Hammer is through Puzzle of Times. So there you go, that is my version of Night March. Like I said earlier, I think this deck is going to be really, really strong at Nationals. It's going to have a high showing at Nationals. Maybe not as much as I thought it was going to be, because a lot of decks are being hyped right now, like the Greninja, the Metal Genesect, which this deck beats Metal Genesect, Greninja Darkrai, which I think this deck does beat Greninja Darkrai. Yeah, that's pretty much the top 3 that are getting hyped a lot right now, which this deck can beat all those. It can outspeed Greninja sometimes, which is really, really nice, because Greninja usually doesn't attack by like turn 3. They're not attacking by then. You can knock out 2 Greninjas and maybe win the prize exchange that way. Just don't put your Shaymins down as much. Maybe just put 1 down and you'll be okay. And like I said, this is my Night March version deck. It's a very, very straightforward deck. Put a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile, use Night March, take a knockout, and there you go. But hopefully you enjoyed this deck introduction. Thanks for watching, and let's see the deck in action. Alright, pretty good. CLG, Dead Moon, suppose we have the advantage. He's playing a Psychic and a Colors deck, which seems like it's going to be a Trevenant deck, which is kind of unfortunate if he gets to turn 1 Trevenant, because we can't play any of our item cards, but we do play the 2 Hex Maniacs. So we'll see what happens. Turn number 1, we get the Mew, which is great. We get Buddy-Buddy Rescue as well, Trainers Mail. Alrighty, so press done, and let's see what does my opponent have. Now, luckily we do have a Sycamore in our hand, so our opponent does get a turn 1 Trevenant. We might be able to take a knockout this turn. There's a Phantom coming down, and there's a Trainers Mail. I imagine our opponent's trying to find a turn 1 Wally to get a Trevenant out. If they can do that, then we cannot play any of our trainer cards, which is very unfortunate. There's a Dimension Valley coming down, which is great. Once this card comes down, it's going to be stuck there forever, and we'll be able to pretty much use it over and over again. So Dimension Valley coming down, which is great. There's a Mystery to deactive. And does my opponent have another Pokemon? If they do not, Shaymin going to set up for 2, okay. So there's a Shaymin coming down, get 1 and 2, alright. And do we see a turn 1 Wally or not? That is the big question. Another Phantom coming down, okay. And what will my opponent do? That is the big mystery here. Just a pass. Alright, so on our turn, we get the Joltik, which is okay. We'll put that down. We'll put down a DCE Battle Compressor, and with the Compressor, we'll discard, I guess, just 3 Joltiks. That's 20, 40, 60, okay. No, what am I talking about? We need to do 3 Lampents. 1, 2, 3, okay, so we discard 3 Lampents. We'll use Trainer's Mail. I guess we won't grab anything or press done. And we'll probably just go for a Sycamore, discard our hand, draw 7 new cards. We are discarding a VS Seeker, which is okay. There's another Battle Compressor, we'll play that. And with the Compressor, we'll discard probably Joltiks, because those can be knocked out pretty easily by Trevenant that does 30 everywhere. So we'll put those guys down, yeah. And then we'll put down... let's see. Probably another Battle Compressor is pretty useless. So we'll discard those 3. And we will just go for a Night March for the knockout. How much damage are we doing? 100 exactly, which is kind of unfortunate. We need to put one more in there to knock out a Trevenant. That was just me miscalculating. But there's an Ultra Ball, which is great, because next time we can Hex Maniac, Ultra Ball, discard Joltik, and then maybe the Escape Rope to get down a Pumpkaboo, and then we can Night March for the knockout on the Trevenants, because we have the Hex Maniac in our hand, unless our opponent ends us. And if that happens, well, that'd be kind of unfortunate, but yeah. I don't know. I think both hexes are in the deck. We got 5 Pokemon in the discard pile. There's a Trevenant coming down. And does my opponent have a Wally here? If they have a Wally this turn, then they can get a Trevenant out, use Silent Fear. But nope, nothing. Onto our turn, we can play the Hex Maniac. We can shut down the Trevenants. We can play Ultra Ball, discarding Joltik and the Escape Rope, most likely, to get out a Pumpkaboo, which is great. So we'll put down the Pumpkaboo. We'll play the Trainers Mail. We will grab, I guess, a VS Seeker, and there's my opponent gets seen in the game. We would have Night March, knock out the Trevenants, take a knockout there. Probably have grabbed the VS Seeker most likely. Maybe the Puzzle of Time. I'm not sure what was in my discard pile, but the VS Seeker would have been great, because then we could have, like, VS Seeker for Hex Maniac, played a Shaymin not this turn, but we would have held to the Shaymin this turn, and then next turn play Shaymin, draw to have 6 cards in our hand, then play the Hex to shut down the Trevenant if they got another one down somehow. But we would have knocked out the Trevenant, went down to 4 prize cards left, knocked out the Shaymin, went down to 2, and my opponent's in a really, really bad position. So there you go. Even if your opponent plays a item locket deck, you can still beat them because you play the 2 Hex Maniacs, which is really, really nice. Let's look at my opponent's deck real quick and see how many they played. Oh, it was a Mega Alakazam Trevenant deck. Ooh, that's spicy. Wobbuffet start probably would have hurt us, but we started with Mew regardless. Like, we had a really good turn 1 with the Mew and Joltik. They only played the 1 Wally, no Battle Compressor, so they had to basically draw into that card. Oh no, they played 2 Wally and 4 Bursting Balloons. Bursting Balloons would have been bad if my opponent had put that down, because Bursting Balloon does 60 to your Pokemon, which makes things fairly interesting, because then Bursting Balloon can hit you. So yeah, that would have been an interesting matchup for sure, because Bursting Balloon basically one-shots your Mews and stuff, which is very unfortunate unless you get down the Fighting Fear Belt, which we might have gotten down that turn, depending what we would have drawn off the Trainers Mail. Oh, we weren't going to get anything off the Trainers Mail. I don't know, but there you go. There's game number 1. We'll play one more game with the deck here in a second, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a good game, but a longer game than this one, because this one wasn't very long. But the deck is so straightforward. We all know what Night March does. It's nothing new to this game, but we'll see what happens in the next game. Alright, printing is per Toodles, playing a Psychic, Lightning, and a Colorless deck. This does seem like a mirror match. Heads, we won the coin flip, and if this is the mirror match like I think it is, we will actually say no, and we're going to go second, because that's what you kind of want to do in the mirror match. If you know they're playing Night March, you want to go second, and wow, this turn 1 is not great, but hey, it might be okay. We got a Shaymin start, Battle Compressors. We can maybe Skyr to knock out a Joltik. So we'll press done, and let's see what happens. Start of Shaymin is very, very unfortunate, but we can knock out the Joltik turn number 1, which is great. DC to the active. He needs a Fighting Fear Belt. There's an Ultra Ball. Go and discard a Xerosic and a Lampent. Gonna get a Shaymin-EX, okay. And let's see, what does my opponent do? Gonna set up for 3 new cards. And this is going to be a very interesting mirror match for sure. Now, if we get the Megaphone, if he puts out a Fighting Fear Belt, we'll be okay, because then we can knock out a Joltik, and we can take the first prize card. There's a Sycamore. Going to discard that hand, drawing 7 new cards, and discard another DC and a Pumpkaboo. I don't know why he didn't put down the other Pumpkaboo. That seems very scary. We see a Trainers Mail. Going to grab a Battle Compressor. Okay. Another Battle Compressor. Oh, the Battle Compressor he just Trainers Mail for. Going to discard 3 Pokemon. There's 3 Lampets. Okay. And there's an Ultra Ball. Go and discard a Ultra Ball to Pumpkaboo. Once again, I'm not sure if I like him discarding so many Night Marches turn 1. But Mew coming down. Does he have a Float Stone to bring that Joltik out of the active spot or not? Or an Escape Rope or something. If not, we can Skyr to knock out this Joltik. And wow, so on our turn, what we can do is we can play Town Map first off, which is great. We can see what's in there. Both of our Sycamores are prized. Oh my goodness. Alright, that's very unfortunate. So put a DC on this guy. We'll play a Fighting Fear Belt. We'll Compressor. And with the Compressor, we're going to discard 3 Lampents. That's all you pretty much need to discard. Probably 1 Joltik as well. So we'll discard those 3. We'll Battle Compressor again. Go to discard a Joltik, an N, and then probably a Teammates. Yeah, those seems like 3 good cards. How many? I have a Puzzle Times in deck as well. Yeah, 4 Puzzle Times are in here, so we'll press done. We will, I'm actually going to Via Seeker for an N. I don't want to play the Trainers Mail right now, because we can't use it to grab an Ultra Ball or anything. So let's N. Going to give us 6 new cards, and let's see, can we find a Night Marcher? Well, we found stuff. I don't know the stuff that we need, because now if we Sky Return, if Mew just gets knocked out, we just lose like automatically. But we can Buddy-Buddy Rescue for a Joltik, which I think is what I want to do to at least get it so that way we don't lose next turn. So let's Buddy-Buddy Rescue. Gonna grab a Joltik, and then I'm actually going to promote the Mew when we attack. So Lampent going to their hand. We'll grab the Joltik, okay. And when I Sky Return, I'm going to actually send in the Mew, so that way he can't Sky Return my, so he can't Sky Return me. So we'll Sky Return for 40. Go to knock out that Joltik. He is down 2 DCEs, but he does have Puzzle Time. So let's go Mew. We'll take... Let's see, we already have a DC in our hand. So let's grab... I think I'm tempted to grab the Ultra Ball. Yeah, let's grab the Ultra Ball, because we already guaranteed to knock out the following turn, and we'll see with the Mew. Like, we can easily knock out his Mew, because we have 3 in the discard pile, which is 24 to 60, which is a knockout. So I'd rather get the Ultra Ball to get down at Pumpkaboo. Alright, so there's Pumpkaboo coming down. And there's a DC to the active, but does he get the Dimension Valley? There it is, okay. We see a Battle Compressor, going to discard 3 cards out of his deck. Now, the name of the game is knocking out Shaymins. If we can knock out my opponent's Shaymins, we'll be A-okay. We can win the game that way. We need to take we need to take out his Shaymins quicker than he can take out of ours. And if we can do that, we'll be okay. There's an N. We're going to get a new hand of 5, which is kind of unfortunate. Maybe we should have grabbed the Sycamore. But we'll see what happens. 5 new cards. There's a DCE, Ultra Ball, pretty good hand. Mew coming down, Trainers Mail. The Ultra Ball does give us a chance to get out a Pumpkaboo for the following turn. There's a Megaphone, okay. And we're going to see a Night March, okay. There's a Fighting Fear Belt going down to the Mew. Let's see, 20, 40, 60, which is not a knockout right now. Yeah, it has 90 HP. So we'll see a Joltik coming down, okay. And let's see, we're going to see a Night March for the knockout, most likely. So yeah, Night March, going to knock us down, going to do 380 damage. The belt didn't really matter on weakness and stuff like that. But on our turn, what do we draw? We get a Fighting Fear Belt. So I'm going to Trainers Mail. And we grab a Battle Compressor, which is great. We need the Battle Compressor this turn. So we're going to Compressor. And with the Compressor, we are going to discard Lampent, Joltik. Yeah, that's probably the best play. I'll press done. And I kind of don't want to do this. But we might have to Ultra Ball to grab a Shaymin. But if he has a Megaphone in his hand, I think, if I remember correctly. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Ultra Ball. This is weird. We'll grab DCE. Yeah, we'll discard DC and Hex Maniac. Like, he has 3 DC in the discard pile, right? There's 1 left. DCE. And now let's discard these 2, because we need it. We're gonna grab a Shaymin this turn. Going to set up. Going to try to dig for another Night Marcher. So let's grab a Shaymin. We'll put a DC on the active. We'll put down a Shaymin-EX, which might be bad because my opponent can Lysandre up next turn. But we'll see a Shaymin setting up for 5 new cards. Okay, we got double Puzzle of Time. We could double Puzzle Time for a Battle Compressor. Get a Night Marcher out, knock out the Shaymin this turn, and then we can Target Whistle, bring out the Shaymin again the following turn if we get lucky. Or do we just keep? Oh, we might just keep. I Yeah. Actually, let's just go for a Night March. I think that's probably the best play. Yeah, so we're gonna Night March here. Take it to knockout. Alright, we'll do 120. We'll grab a Sycamore. Yeah, we'll grab a Sycamore. Yes, he's fine. What we can do next turn is we could get a... Yeah, I think... Oh, man, I don't know. It's getting weird now. There's a Trainers Mail, okay. If next turn we can knock out the Shaymin, we'll be okay. There's a Sycamore going to my opponent's hand, okay. Alright. Yeah, I think what we do this next turn is try to knock out the Shaymin. They received Sycamore, so no Lysandre this turn. If we would have got the Fighting Fury belt down, we might have been okay. But does my opponent find a DCE? Has he played any Puzzle Times? He has played one. There's a DCE, so that's his last DCE this game. Alright, so see a Night March for the knockout. But my plan is to, right now, to knock out that Shaymin-EX. Okay. So, go Shaymin. On to our turn. We get a Mew. Put down the Mew. We will double Puzzle Time. Alright. And with this, we'll grab a Joltik. Wait, is there a there's not a Pumpkaboo. Alright, we'll grab Joltik and a Battle Compressor, alright? I don't even know if Lysandre's in the deck, but hopefully it is. We'll grab those two. We'll play the Battle Compressor, and with the Compressor, we are going to discard Lysandre, Megaphone, and Hex Maniac. Those cards are pretty much useless. We could maybe discard the other two DCEs, whatever. So we'll discard those three. We'll put down a Joltik, use Escape Rope. My opponent's probably going to send like Pumpkaboo or a Joltik or something, but what we're going to do is Lysandre up to Shaymin, take two more prize cards. What? We don't even have to use a supporter card this turn? Alright, whatever. Let's send the Mew. Let's DC this guy, and let's just go for a Night March. Why would my opponent send up the Shaymin? That's so confusing. Why would you not just send up one of your Night Marchers? Alright, so we'll take a DCE and a Sycamore. Oh, we should have probably got a Shaymin. What was I thinking? Shaymin would have been the best play. That was just a mistake on my part. But here comes a Mew. Ults my opponent's turn. Okay. Let's see what happens. Like, we're okay. We have two prize cards left. Yeah, we should have grabbed the Shaymin because we could Ultra Ball discard double Sycamore, grab a Shaymin, play one Shaymin, play a bunch of stuff down, play another Shaymin. But here's an end. We're going to get it down to two cards, which is why I'm kind of glad we took the Sycamore. So let's end for two. There's a Target Whistle and a hand of Trainers Mail. So we'll see what happens. There's a Night March. Going to take a knockout. Do 360 damage. Okay. We're going to send in the Joltik. And let's see what do we get off this card. Give me something good. Oh, to our turn we get a Ultra Ball. So we can use Ultra Ball to get out of Shaymin. Play Shaymin for 6. Try to get double Puzzle Time. Or we can Target Whistle, Trainers Mail, and hope to all four. I'm just going to Ultra Ball, discard these two, grab a Shaymin. I think that's the better play for sure. So we'll grab a Shaymin. We still have plenty of outs to win this turn. So we'll grab Shaymin-EX. We'll play that down. Going to set it for 6 new cards. Yes. And I really do regret not getting the Shaymin. So we're going to set it for 6 new cards. Alright, so we'll play DCE this guy. We'll play Pumpkaboo. We'll Trainers Mail. Oh yeah, if we had it, we'd been okay. So we'll grab a Dimension Valley. Then we'll play a Via Seeker, 4 Sycamore. Going to discard our hand, drawn 7 new cards. Oh wait, Sycamore's not in here. Alright, so we're gonna grab Teammates. Yeah, I think grabbing Teammates is gonna be the better play. And the reason why I'm gonna grab the Teammates is I'm gonna Teammates for double Puzzle Time. And with this, I'm going to grab 2 DCs put into our deck. I think this is the best route to go. And as you see, we win the game. What I would have done is Puzzle Time for 2 Teammates, for 2 DCs, put those into our deck. And then, if my opponent ends this to 1, I would have put the Joltik down as well. We would have got into 2. Would have got the Shaymin off the prize cards as well. We would have had the 2 Sycamores, multiple cards. We probably would have won that game. But there we go. My opponent can see the game, realize he can't win. And there you go. That's how you kind of play in the mirror. If you want to play in the mirror, if you know you're playing against the mirror, you always want to go. I think you want to go second. Some people argue that you want to go first because if you go first, you want to get set up, get your board established, and then play a Hex Maniac to make it where your opponent cannot use Shaymin, not take a knockout against your turn, anything like that. But I think if you go second, you have a bigger like capability of taking the knockout. Because your opponent, you know, they might play the Hex Maniac, they got plenty of battle pressures that can shut you down, but then all you need is like a Compressor, like a VS Seeker, and you can take a knockout that turn as well to shut down your opponent. So there you go, there's the Night March. We play one random game, and we play a mirror match, we think it's perfect. The deck is kind of the same, no matter what game, you just discard a bunch of Night Marchers, take a knockout, and it just depends when you use Puzzle Times, stuff like that. Like that game, I used my Puzzle Times. I was gonna grab two DCEs. The confusing part is when my opponent, like, when we escape rope and they shoot up a Shaymin, like, why? I don't know why he did that. I guess just an inexperienced Night March player, I assume. I'm not 100% sure, because you just gave us 2 free prize cards. Like, we had the VS Seeker regardless. We were gonna knock out the Shaymin. Either way. But some other points to point out against the mirror match is obviously you don't want to drop too many Shaymins. If you drop too many Shaymins, you automatically lose. If you have the opportunity to pick up your Shaymins, you should. If you have a way to recycle them out of your discard pile, you should, because your opponent probably plays Target Whistle, like we do. We didn't see Target Whistle being used, but we know it was in there. But there you go, there's Night March. It is one of the strongest decks. If you're going to Nationals, you need to be testing against this deck, or testing the deck as well. If you don't expect Night March to be there, you're crazy. It's going to be played everywhere. It's the best deck for a reason. It did so well at States for a reason, and it just keeps going on and on with the new Mew included in the deck. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it's Night March, but hey, we gotta cover it. We gotta get everybody ready for Nationals. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Alrighty, bye. Alright guys, just want to give a quick shout out to our 2 sponsors, 60 Cards and Yeti Gaming. The links are down below to their websites. Make sure you go check them out. Alrighty.